Number two is empowering the child to reject the other parent. So the sentences you will hear put together are: the child shouldn't be forced to go with the other parent. The child should be allowed to decide on visitations. So you see how they kind of go together. One is it takes away our ability to um, compel the child and to take leadership of the child. It puts the child in charge. We shouldn't force a child, implies there's something bad going on, and then empowers the child to reject the other parent. What happens there is the pathological narcissistic borderline dark parent first psychologically controls the child, gets the child in this enmeshed cross-generational coalition. And once they have manipulated the child onto their side in the spousal conflict, then that's the force. We shouldn't force the child. The child's over on our side now. That then they empower the child's voice to reject the other parent, and they just hide behind the child and say, "It's not me, it's the child who is rejecting you. What can I do? I can't force the child to take phone calls from the other parent." The child should be allowed to decide, how much contact they have with that other parent. And so that's your constellation of 1 and 2. ACS2 was present in 100% of the families. 100%. Okay, so it's kind of a little bit diagnostic. If you have a parent who is empowering the child to reject the other parent, you got this pathology. Now, is it possible that the targeted parent is abusive? And that's why the use of the word forced is there. We shouldn't force the child to be with an authentically abusive parent. Or, we empower the child to sever the bond to an abusive parent. Is that possible? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if that's an authentically abusive parent, if the targeted parent is abusing the child, let's diagnose it and put it on a treatment plan and fix it. Okay, that's the differential diagnosis. Going back to the beginning, is attachment pathology. It's either child abuse by the targeted parent, or it's psychological abuse by the allied parent. So let's rule out child abuse by the targeted parent. You do that by the parenting practices rating scale. You identify what their parenting is. If it's level 1 or 2, that becomes the focus. If it's levels 3 and 4, then let's do the diagnostic checklist and let's start looking at the associated clinical signs, because that's a normal range parent. And so there's no reason why we shouldn't force the child to be with a healthy parent. It's not forcing, it's giving the child an opportunity to be loved by each parent, by both parents. That's a good thing. So that's ACS 1 and 2. That's why I put them 1 and 2, because they are very characteristic of this pathology, and it's a nice tell. The other nice tell on the use of the word forced is from mental health professionals. If you hear a mental health professional use the word forced, wait a minute, they've got that sensitivity in them. That's the countertransference issue. So it exposes countertransference in the mental health people, that they are susceptible to believing the shared delusion based on their own childhood history.